So you are watching the second episode of Good Cooks Know.
Episode 2.
I'm Toby.
I'm Kolby.
And in this episode, we are going to be making bacon.
Bacon!
So you may remember if you've seen our first episode that the premise of our season is everything that we're doing in these recipes is something that's already delicious.
Like bacon.
And we're making it even more delicious. So today, we're going to be working with bacon, which even if you just fry bacon, if the bacon is good, you're going to have something really tasty. So we're going to make it even more special by adding brown sugar and spices to it. Lots of times you do bacon either in a frying pan on the stovetop or you might do it in the microwave, but in this case we're going to do it in the oven. Okay. So it has a different kind of texture and it takes longer, but the result is really worth it.
Sweet.
What we're going to do first is we're going to mix up the coating for the bacon.
Okay.
And so you need a bowl. It starts with brown sugar, and so here we have our brown sugar, and so we're going to measure it. Now remember in our last episode we measured granulated sugar, white sugar, and we were able to just like shake it to even it off, but brown sugar is different. So it takes half a cup, so you need a half a cup measuring. You can start by scooping it out, and with brown sugar you have to pack it, so I brought you a spoon. So you want it to be packed in nice and tight in the cup. So once you get it sort of nice and even on the top, you just add it to the bowl.
Boom.
Yes, exactly. And so in this case, all we're going to do with the brown sugar is we're going to add the spices to it. The spices are really simple. They're the kinds of things that you're probably already going to have in your pantry because most people have this stuff. We have 2 tablespoons of chili powder. Okay. Chili powder has a lot of stuff in it, but one of the things it has is ground up peppers. And so that's one of the things that's going in. So we have 2 tablespoons, which sounds like a lot, but it's the right amount for this recipe. And then we also have a teaspoon of ground cumin. So these are ingredients that you would find in your chili if you're going to make chili.
It's hitting me in the nose.
They're spicy. All right, and then you just mix it all up, so I'll let you do that. So all you want to do is be sure that the chilies and the cumin and the brown sugar are all completely incorporated together. And you're doing exactly right. If you see lumps in the brown sugar, you just try to mash it. Okay, so once we have our mixture made, so this is just brown sugar and the chili powder and the cumin, we're going to just set that aside for a minute because we're going to get ready to put it on the bacon. And the way that I do it is I use wax paper. You could also use parchment paper for this, but you need a nice big piece of wax paper to lay the bacon on and to put our mixture on. So the first thing you do is you pour that onto the wax paper. Nice. Exactly how you do it. All right. Do is once you get it on the wax paper, you just spread it out. Now I've gone and gotten thick cut bacon, and I got it at Miller's Country Store. So it's difficult. Sometimes you can find thick cut bacon in the regular grocery store, but it's a little harder. But that's what you want because we want the bacon to stand up to the coating. And so I asked them to cut this a little thicker than would normally be the case. So here's what we do. We just put all the bacon in a row on the brown sugar. And I've only got about 9 or 10 slices of bacon. This is 1 pound of bacon. And I put it really close to each other so that I can take advantage of all of the sugar goodness. And as you're doing it, you see all I'm doing is just sort of pressing it down. That's making the bacon stick to the brown sugar or the brown sugar stick to the bacon. And that's going to make a really nice coating when we cook it.
That is really thick bacon. It's going to be good.
Listen, just...
Last piece.
Perfect. It's like we knew what we were doing. Okay, so what I do is I try to mash it down really good because I want a lot of the coating to stick to the bacon. And we want to use up all of the coating. We don't waste any of it. All right, so that's side number 1. Now, what we do is we flip it over. We do the same thing on the other side.
And hopes that there's some left.
Yeah, and there always is a little bit left. It won't be as well coated on the second side, but you can also move the bacon around a little bit and grab some of the brown sugar and chili powder and cumin that's on the wax paper. And again, we just press it down. You can see how nicely coated it is. All right, we've got all of our bacon slices.
That is really coated. It looks like beef jerky at the moment.
It does, yes. And remember when we did the nuts, one of the things I said that was incredibly important is that we put the foil on the pan because
The
it makes such a
parchment paper?
mess. Exactly.
Yes.
We did parchment paper before. This time we're going to actually use foil. And we're going to use foil
Let me get this.
because we want it to completely cover the pan.
Okay.
The nuts are, as messy as they are less messy than this bacon's going to
Okay.
be. All right. So you see again, I have a cookie sheet pan, which is just the right size for this rack that I have. So this is typically a cooling rack. People use this to cool their cookies or their cakes or their pies, but you'll see that it's just about the right size for the pan. And what it's going to do is it's going to keep the bacon up off the pan and let the fat, as it cooks, drain down,
Okay.
which lets the bacon get crispy. All right, but here's really important to have a lot of cooking spray for this recipe because you want the pan to be well coated with spray. So the first thing I do is I spray the pan itself. Okay, plenty of spray. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to cover the pan with foil, and that spray is going to help the foil stick to the pan.
Okay.
But it's also going to help the foil release from the pan once everything's cooked.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to get some aluminum foil. You want it a little bigger than your pan. Okay, now, I'm going to let you do this. I'll do this end and I'll let you do that end. All right. Hold the foil to the shape of the pan and then push it over the edge a little bit, just like that, exactly. And see what I did with the spray? That helps the foil stick to the pan. We want this to be nice and tight because the sugar and the fat are really, really sticky.
Okay.
And so if you don't have your pan really covered, you will have a huge mess. It's almost impossible to get it off. All right, that's our pan. Now we're going to take the rack and we're going to put it on the pan. That's going to hold the bacon up off it. Yes, exactly. It can just sit like that. Now we're also going to spray the rack because that will make the rack easier to clean as well. All right, I'll let you do that. And a lot of spray. You want it to be... Yeah, good. So you can see it on the rack itself. That's great. That's exactly what you want. The next thing to do is just to put the bacon on. And so what I do, you can work from that end, I'll work from this end. If there's any sugar left, I go ahead and grab it. We don't want to waste any of that because that's the good stuff. And then you just put each piece on the rack, and you want it to have a little bit of space around it, but you want it to be sure that it's over the pan. If it's not over the pan, it'll drip into your oven.
Oven on next.
Right, and that actually it could catch fire.
Oh,
Sometimes that can happen.
fire hazard as well.
So we have already preheated our oven to 400 degrees. That's where we're going to roast the bacon at. And we're just about ready to put it in. So you see, I think we've got 9 slices of bacon here. That'll be a nice...
It already smells so good.
Doesn't it smell good? So that's all there is to this recipe. And next thing we do is we bake it. So we're going to go to the oven. We're going to put the bacon in to be roasted. It takes about 20 minutes, maybe just a little bit longer because our bacon is thick. And then it has to cool a little bit. And after that, we'll get to taste it.
Yes.
Here we go, to the oven. 400 degrees is what we've got the oven set at. We're going to put it in the middle rack.
The middle?
Woo! Feel the heat. So you're just careful as you slide it in not to burn. Good. Just right in the middle, perfect. That's it. So all we do is wait for 20 minutes. We'll check it at 20 minutes. It may need a few more minutes because this bacon is a little thicker than bacon that you would buy in the grocery store.
You never have to flip it or anything?
You don't have to flip it or anything because it's up off the pan.
Okay.
That allows the heat to move around the bacon, and so it should roast evenly. See, it's all bubbly. Actually, we can turn the timer off first.
Oh man.
That looks pretty good.
Because it's curled up on the edges.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that happens. But notice also how nice and flat the pieces are, which is one of the things that happens when you roast it like this. If you just cook bacon in a frying pan, it doesn't always turn out the way. Now let's check it. So I'm going to say that that's not as crisp as we want it. See how it's still not completely crisp? So we're going to flip it over, which if your bacon's thinner, you may not have to do. And we're going to cook it for a little bit longer. So there we are. That's been baking for a little longer than we originally thought, but I think it's probably done. So you can smell the brown sugar and the spices that we added to it as well. So let's taste it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take it up and we're going to put it on some paper towels. That will help any of the residual grease to drain off. And that will help it to crisp up a little bit. It's not going to be as crispy as bacon that you would cook in the frying pan or in the microwave because of the way that we've roasted it. But it will have a bit of crisp to it. It'll have a little bit of bite to it. so you can see the mess that's made on the pan.
Big time.
That would be really difficult to clean up. It's going to be a little warm, so I've got a hot pad under it, so be careful. We'll just slide that out of our way.
Ooh.
That's all right. Don't worry too much. Just get out of the way. So there's our bacon. So let's cut one in half, and we'll each have a little bite of it and taste it and see what we think. So this is your first time. Give it a bite.
Oh my gosh.
Told you.
That is so good.
It's kind of surprising, isn't it? It's like a cross
That is
between.
delicious. It's like when I first took a bite, it was sweet, but now I taste the chili powder.
You can get a little bit. So it's surprising how delicious that is. All right, so our camera guy is Elijah. Elijah, come taste.
I do love bacon.
That is delicious.
Whoa.
That is so
I
good.
did not expect that. You're right about the sweet.
Yeah.
When you get the chili powder and then the bacon.
Oh my gosh.
So
That is
I
so
want to take the rest home.
good.
you can do that. So that's our second episode, Making Bacon.
Making
And
bacon.
what we did was an oven roasted bacon. So you can see it's not difficult.
No.
But it's really tasty. It
That
makes
is
a
delicious.
delicious bacon sandwich.
Ooh.
So
Sure it would.
and you know it's really yummy to eat as a breakfast treat, but also it's really delicious on a sandwich.
That is so good.
So this is our show, Good Cooks Know. Just a reminder, I'm Toby,
I'm Kolby.
and that's Elijah.
Elijah.
We'll
And
see you next time.
We'll see you next time for episode 3.
Oh my gosh.
I want to get another one.
Go for it.
So good. You're full of hand.